Welcome to the IGSS online training. I'm here from 7 Technologies to present our SCADA system called IGSS. This is Lesson 3, Running IGSS as an Operator, Part 1. In this lesson, we will be starting the IGSS. I will tell you a little bit about the IGSS and IGSS Master basics. We will be locating objects through the object browser, controlling some of these objects and monitoring the plant. And finally, I will be talking a little bit about alarm handling in IGSS. Starting IGSS. The IGSS Master program starts the IGSS, and you can access the IGSS Master program from the following places. The IGSS install folder. The default path for an IGSS installation on a local machine is the 7T folder under Program Files. You can also access the IGSS Master as a shortcut, if a shortcut has been created, of course. Finally, you can start IGSS from the Windows Start menu, as you can all Windows-based programs. You could also set up a job to start the IGSS Master when Windows starts. As an alternative to using the IGSS Master, you can use the IGSS Starter, but only as a shortcut or directly from the install folder. The IGSS Starter opens a more operator-restricted environment as compared to the IGSS Master. We recommend using the IGSS Master to start IGSS. IGSS Master. IGSS has two modes, Runtime and Design Mode. The modes can be changed by clicking the application menu and selecting the mode you want to run the IGSS in. As an operator, you should ensure that IGSS is running in the Runtime mode. Looking at the IGSS Master, we have the Data Collection group in the upper left-hand corner. The Start, Stop, Restart, and Supervise buttons are also prevalent in the IGSS Starter. The Start button starts the project and starts data collection. The Stop button stops the project and stops data collection. The Restart stops the project and starts the project again in one operation. Finally, the Supervise button opens the Supervise module and allows the operator to monitor and control the process. The Alarm button opens the alarm list for alarm handling. We will return to this later in the lesson. Dashboard, Job Scheduler, Maintenance, Manual Report Editor, Notifier, and Change Language are all buttons that will be covered in another lesson. We can monitor the status of the system here, and we can see that the system has started. We can also see that the PLC communication is simulated, and in the upper right-hand corner there is a heartbeat, which monitors whether or not the system is online. Finally, we can access the Help, the Reports, and the Dashboards in the lower left-hand corner of the IGSS Master. Before we jump into the demonstration, I think it might be a good idea to talk a little bit about some key IGSS concepts, as I will be navigating the system using these concepts. An IGSS project is typically divided into a number of areas. Each area can contain a number of mimic diagrams. Each mimic diagram can contain a number of objects. The objects are our process components in the monitored process. Each area also contains the graphs for the underlying diagrams. I will be using the demo project in these training videos, and this is the framework of the demo project. The global area is always present in an IGSS project, and it contains elements that are common or should be common to all areas, such as object templates. The training and cases areas are particular to the IGSS demo project. The training and cases areas contain these diagrams and these graphs. You can change areas and diagrams by using the toolbar, or you can create buttons that open the diagrams. The demo project has buttons, and I will also demonstrate area, diagram, and graph navigation by using the toolbar. We are now ready to start the IGSS demo project and look at monitoring and controlling some process objects. I have already installed the demo, and if I click the Home tab and the Supervise button, I start the demo project. This is the demo project here, with the buttons that lead to the various areas. You can see the areas in the toolbar. We have global, training, and cases. Presently I'm in the training area, and the training area contains these diagrams. It also contains this graph, the PST01 levels. Now we're going to find an object in one of these diagrams. It is the object called T1. It is found in the refuse disposal diagram here. I click the back button. I intend to find this object by using the object browser. The object browser is opened by selecting the Edit and Open by Name. The object browser contains two panes. The left pane contains a tree view, and the right contains all the objects that are found in that area. If we click the Advanced button, we have the option of changing the filter settings in the tree view node. We can also search for our objects directly, and the easiest way to do this is in the wildcard text criteria, entering the name of the object. Let's say I know the name, it's called T something or other. I entered a wildcard. T1 is found in the training area, and it's an analog object. I can go directly to this object by clicking the Open or Select button. Let me just clear the Show Properties, and so I have the Go to Diagram checkbox selected. I click the button, and let me close this. The diagram is opened with the object selected. Note that there is a flashing rectangle around the object. I can do various things in these diagrams with our objects. I can change the high alarm value, for instance, on this T1 object by right-clicking and selecting the HA. This stands for the high alarm. I can actually change this high alarm to, for instance, 10 degrees Celsius. I click OK, and the high alarm has now been changed from 15 to 10 degrees Celsius. I can also send commands to our digital objects. For instance, these objects down here, P1, P2, and P3 are digital commands. By clicking this button, I start the pumps. I can also right-click and say stop or start here. By right-clicking on objects in the diagram, we can monitor and control the objects. We can respond to alarms, we can inhibit alarms, and we can acknowledge them. We can insert and remove object or alarm nodes on the object itself, as well as selecting the object for special supervision and investigation of values of the object through time. Let's go back to the IGSS Master, because I want to show the alarm list. Let me close this diagram and the supervised form. Back and close. In the IGSS Master, note this red square. This is the alarm counter, which displays the number of presently active alarms that have been triggered by events in the process you are monitoring. If you double-click on the alarm counter, you can open the Active Alarms form, which displays all alarms. The Active Alarms form can also be opened from the IGSS Master and the Alarm button, or you can click the Windows toolbar, or the alarm counter is also present in the system tray. The Active Alarms form is split into two areas. The upper part displays all alarms, while the lower part displays events. Events are not part of this presentation. It will be covered in a later lesson. If we look at the upper half of the Active Alarms form, we see that the left pane contains Active Alarms and Alarm Log. Active Alarms displays all pending alarms, meaning all alarms that are currently active, while the Alarm Log displays all alarms, including those that have been acknowledged. If we look at the right-hand pane, all of the alarms are listed and divided into columns. The more important columns are the sequence number, which displays the order in which the alarms have been registered, the priority column. In IGSS, the larger the priority number, the higher the alarm priority. So an alarm priority of 100 is more important or has a higher priority than, say, an alarm with a priority value of 50. The object name column is the object that has triggered the alarm. We can acknowledge alarms in the Active Alarms form in two ways. By selecting the alarm right-clicking and selecting Acknowledge. We can also select an alarm and then click Actions and Acknowledge. We can find the items in the Active Alarms form by right-clicking and selecting Find. The Supervise module has to be activated, but the object will be found and marked with a blinking rectangle. Back in the Active Alarms form, we can add an alarm note to an object, for instance by right-clicking and clicking Note. In the Alarm Note tab, we can then add a note. An icon will be displayed once the note has been added. I can inhibit alarms coming from an object. To inhibit an alarm, I select the alarm, right-click, and click Inhibit Alarm. Once you inhibit an alarm will actually be triggered telling you that you have inhibited an alarm. I can remove the inhibit in the same fashion. Much of the functionality we have on an object in the alarm list can actually be duplicated in the Supervise module. If we find an alarm, let's find Q1 in the Supervise module. If I right-click on the object, I can inhibit an alarm, I can acknowledge it, and I can add an alarm text. If I inhibit an alarm, I'm given the option of inhibiting all alarms on this object or only individual alarms on the object. I can select, for instance, only to inhibit alarms that come from high values or low values. In this case, I'm not going to inhibit anything. I can add an alarm text. I can actually append an alarm text. This is the alarm text that was created from the alarm list form. If we open the Active Alarms, we can see by right-clicking that my note has been appended. I can customize the alarm list by selecting Customize, Alarm List Format, and Add and Remove Columns. I can likewise change the sorting order. If I find that the more important sorting order could be priority, I can change that. And I can add a filter to the Active Alarms. To add a filter, I must select the node that I wish to add a filter on, click Customize, and add a filter. In this case, I'm going to add a filter that only filters all objects that start with Q. I select Object Name, begins with Q. I add the condition and click OK. The filter has now been effectuated, and I'm only shown alarms that originate from the objects Q1, 2, 3, and 4. This concludes Part 1 of writing IGSS as an operator. You can complete the exercises for Part 1, or you can proceed to Part 2. Please note that if you want to do the exercises, you must install an IGSS 350, load the demo license, and open the demo project. I will assume you already have installed the IGSS 350 program. To load the demo license, do the following. Change the mode to Design Mode, and select the Install Demo License. To open the demo project, you have to change the mode to Design Mode, stop any running projects, and select the Open IGSS Demo project in the IGSS Master. Thank you for your attention. For more information, please go to our website, 7t.dk.